Chapter 91 Give Shenxiao a little necromancy shock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the audience, Li Yuanjing was a little stunned when he saw Lin Yi's handsome face appearing on the big screen of the arena. How could it be so fast? Don't the first two qualifying matches take a lot of time? But remembering that Lin Yi was in the 5th round of the National College entrance examination, he just raised his hand and used 2 7th-level spells, 1 ice and 1 fire, to knock him down. Suddenly he didn't feel strange anymore. The characters played in the first 2 rounds were, after all, virtual monsters and professionals created from the fantasy dungeon. It couldn't be easier for Lin Yi to crush them. The most important thing is that Lin Yi is no longer so cautious in his thinking after talking to Meng Yuanzhou. Anyway, the fact that he has mastered the 7th-level spell has been exposed, so there is no need to continue to hide it, but Meng Yuanzhou asked him to hold back and use the 8th level and forbidden spells as much as possible. Dear students of Shenxiao Academy. Good morning, noon and evening. Welcome to Shenxiao Arena. I am your favorite host Shuel Yang. An impassioned voice rang out from the loudspeakers in the entire Shenxiao Arena. At the same time, the ring where Lin Yi was sitting moved to the center of the entire arena stage at an extremely fast speed. After seeing the amazing technology of the Shenxiao mothership, Lin Yi was used to this kind of scene. Perhaps it's because our academy is the most difficult and the rarest level 0 copy of Falling Abyss in Daxia is about to open. Our college welcomed its first batch of powerful freshmen today. And the best among them is undoubtedly this classmate Lin Yi. He broke Shenxiao's 176-year historical record and is the 5th student in our school to be admitted through special recruitment. At the same time, in the just concluded National College entrance examination, this classmate Lin Yi also completed the ultimate Dark Horse counterattack with 5 million perfect scores. Such a rising star has passed the first 2 rounds of qualifying at a record-breaking speed today. In the last round of qualifying, he even chose the highest-ranked player he could choose at the moment, a strong second-year C-level player from Chiyu College, Yu Jingcheng. Classmate Yu Jingcheng won the grade-changing battle with classmate Wu Yang just now. At this moment, his ranking has increased by 79 places in the C-level rating. At this moment, he is full of fighting spirit and momentum. After all, it's our legendary freshman Lin Yi who just enrolled who was able to complete the unprecedented 3 qualifying matches and directly be promoted to Class C. Which student Yu Jingcheng can defeat this super rookie and get all his freshman resources and benefits, it will be announced soon. Please prepare for both sides of the battle. The host's voice ignited the atmosphere of the audience. It is now during the summer vacation. For the students of Shenxiao Academy, most of them have already gone home for vacation. There are also some volume kings who are on field missions, but there are still many students staying in school. Even if you don't participate in the battle, it is very interesting to come to the arena and watch other people's games, but I didn't expect today to be so special. I can witness a battle in which a freshman who has just entered school dares to challenge a senior who has transferred to the 4th grade and is a second-year student. Boom! Boom! 2 dull footsteps sounded. Lin Yi found that on the opposite side of the ring where he was, a strong man approaching 2 meters tall, wearing a battle armor and with bulging muscles, looked like a berserker from Nordic mythology. Yu Jingcheng stuck 2 giant axes on the hard floor of the arena and revealed a sinister smile. What gives you the courage to challenge me? Is he the number 1 scholar in the country? I was also ranked 2nd in the country back then. Of everyone in Shenxiao, who is not among the top 10 in the country. As soon as Yu Jingcheng said these words, the atmosphere of the entire arena was completely ignited. Lin Yi heard a burst of laughter from the audience. These people are not too interested in famous names such as number 1 in the country and number 2 in the country, didn't even take it too seriously, as Yu Jingcheng said. Who can enter Shenxiao and is not among the top 10 in the country? Number 1 pick, number 2, in Shenxiao, the number 1 university in the Xia dynasty, there are a lot of them. Little brother, it's too late to regret it. I just accepted your gift package of resources for new students. Yu Jingcheng pulled out the giant axe from the ground and pointed it directly at Lin Yi. At the same time, a countdown also appeared on the big screen. When the countdown ends, the battle will begin. regarding the rules of the Freshman Resource Package and Position Changing Challenge. Lin Yi knew it before in the first 2 rounds of qualifying matches. First of all, the Freshman Resource Gift Pack is the first and only free benefit that every freshman who enters Shenxiao enjoys. It includes 5 special dungeon entry scrolls that need to be obtained with a rating of C or higher, breakthrough magic crystals, attribute magic crystals and other growth resources. If the challenge of changing positions is of no benefit to the person in the upper position, he will be the loser in fighting the person in the lower position, because you have to bear the risk of failure. Therefore, Shenxiao stipulates that after the low-ranking person succeeds in the challenge of changing positions and rises to the high-ranking position, 1 forced battle will be accumulated. As long as you have the number of mandatory battles on your body, when a low-level challenger challenges you, you must accept it. In the battle just now, Yu Jingqing had just defeated a powerful enemy that he had studied for a long time, successfully completed the position change. That's why he appeared in Lin Yi's optional challenge list, because he had to accept the battle. However, Shenxiao also stipulated that if the low-level challenge failed, not only would the number of forced battles on the high-level person be removed, but the daily resource allocation enjoyed by the low-level person would be transferred to the high-level person according to a certain ratio. In this way, both sides face risks, and the winners will gain at the same time. Such a system has allowed the entire rating and position change challenge system to be implemented to this day. 3, 2, 1. Battle begins. On the big screen, the countdown returned to 0. The bell for the start of the battle also sounded at the side of the ring. The next moment, Yu Jingqing, holding 2 axes, jumped high, and chopped down fiercely at Lin Yi's position with the momentum of the sky collapsing. Berserker skill, split Huashan with force. Unlike most people's idea that warriors are short-handed and clumsy, Yu Jingqing's speed is very fast. In fact, Lin Yi discovered it when he saw him fighting with the night before. As a heavy armor melee profession, he has a lot of displacement skills. In addition to this leaping slash, there are also skills such as charge and violent sprint. Warrior versus mage. As long as the warrior gets close, the mage basically has no power to fight back. Most people in the audience think so. They originally thought that Lin Yi, the freshman who was specially recruited by Shenxiao, could bring them a different experience. Now it seems that his combat experience is too scarce. This kind of newbie who only knows how to take exams is indeed no match for the second-year student who has extremely rich combat experience and even walked on the edge of life and death. However, just when everyone thought that Lin Yi was going to be hit directly by this powerful slash, something unexpected happened. Ding! The sound of metal clashing rang out. A giant python with scarlet eyes and covered with hard scales suddenly appeared in front of Lin Yi. Although it was almost split in 2 by Yu Jingqing's slash, the undead creature has no sense of pain. Under the protection of the giant python's body, Lin Yi was unharmed. It's time to give Shenxiao Academy a little shock to the little necromancer. Chapter 92, Instant Kill of Level 4. The shocking effect of chain corpse explosion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the first giant python was summoned by Lin Yi from the dead space, then, the second one, the 10th one, the 100th one. Until the entire ring was almost filled with Lin Yi's summons. Previously in the Noah ruins, Lu Yu, who obtained the core module of the arc reactor, had the authority to command all the beasts in the entire ruins. In addition to Xia Yuyan's air-breaking field at the time, the attack was fully automatic and indiscriminate. Lin Yi knew that even if he released the monsters in the dead space that he had taken under his command, it would be useless. So, in the final battle, Lin Yi chose to go out in person, but now facing Yu Jingqing, Lin Yi thought that there was no need for this. Aren't the more than 300 monsters in the dead space useful now? Unfortunately, this ring is still too small. Just released more than 100 big treasures, and the entire ring is already crowded. Different from summoning, transferring the summons from the dead space is completed instantly. That is to say, for everyone in the audience, they just felt a flash before their eyes, and hundreds of hideous undead monsters appeared in the field. It looked like Yu Jingqing had released them by splitting Huashan Mountain. This split brought out the entire natural disaster. Is this freshman a summoner? No, you can see on the big screen that his profession is a mage, and he should be mainly specialized in the undead system. Oh my god, This is the first time I have seen so many undead summons, so disgusting. Some of my eyes fell out. Being able to summon and control such a terrifying undead summon at the same time, no wonder he dared to challenge the second grade. In the audience, countless Shenxiao students of varying strengths were talking about it. They didn't know how Lin Yi performed in the previous college entrance examination. But based on this move alone, they admitted that Lin Yi did have something. However, that was all. In their eyes, the gap between the second and fourth turn was not something that could be made up by a talent that defied the heavens. In the ring, Yu Jingqing, who was surrounded by countless undead monsters, calmed down quickly after the initial shock. In Shenxiao's position-changing battle, except for obvious cheating, there are no restrictions on any props and equipment. At this moment, Yu Jingqing was wearing a set of warrior plate armor equipment, and his basic attributes of the fourth turn made his defense terrifyingly high. Even under the siege of so many Lord-level and even Overlord-level monsters, he almost didn't lose any blood. Lin Yi also discovered this. It seems that although the status of these monsters in the Noah ruins is still high, their levels are still in the range of 60 to 80. Facing Yu Jingqing, who is already more than level 120, the level is suppressed too much. No wonder you, a mage, dare to challenge me. If your summoned beasts are not so weak, I would really have a headache if you can control so many summoned beasts at the same time. Now I can kill to my heart's content. That Yu Jingqing licked his lips. The next moment, he roared. An invisible sound wave spread out with him as the center. Roar. Warrior skill, demoralizing roar. All monsters hit will be added with a debuff that slows down their movement speed and attack speed. For weaker enemies, they will even fall into a state of fear and be unable to move. Unfortunately, Lin Yi's undead summons are naturally immune to fear, so Yu Jingqing's roar only forced these monsters to retreat a short distance, and the movement speed was greatly reduced. But this was enough. Then, Yu Jingqing's eyes flashed red, his already sturdy body swelled again, and his whole body was bathed in blood. Skill, Unyielding Will. This is a status skill. After it is activated, it will continue to consume his own health. But at the same time, he can obtain a domineering state. Most people and monsters will fall into a short stiffness when they are attacked, and this short stiffness, in some cases, will even interrupt the skill, and some professions and powerful monsters will have domineering state skills. After entering this state, you can ignore the stiffness directly. Some even have a reduction in control effects. Once the state is increased, Yu Jingqing holds two battle axes in his hands and starts to spin rapidly. The sharp blades break through the air, and blood splashes. In an instant, the dozen undead monsters surrounding him are cut off by the giant axe and the sharp air that sweeps up. Ha ha ha. Boy, you are unlucky to meet me. Every time I kill one of your summons, I will be stronger. Thank you for giving me the state. Lin Yi's eyes sank slightly. With the help of the Eye of Omniscience, he understood why Yu Jingqing said that. At this moment, a buff called Killing Pleasure appeared on his body. Killing Pleasure. After killing a target, your attack power, movement speed, defense power, and maximum health value will increase by 5%. This effect can be stacked up to 200% and last until the end of the battle. At the same time, Lin Yi also discovered that Yu Jingqing's Berserker passive skill was also stacked by him. Burning the Cauldrons. For every 100 points of your health reduced, your attack speed and damage reduction will increase by 1%. This effect reaches its maximum value when your health is reduced to 20%. Just over 10 seconds passed. Under the crazy slaughter of Whirlwind, Yu Jingqing's state was unprecedentedly terrifying. His health was stacked to nearly 1 million, other attributes also doubled. Now he didn't even need to use displacement skills, and his movement speed with Whirlwind was extremely terrifying. The most difficult thing was the damage reduction effect. After opening the Unyielding Will, his health continued to decrease, and now he still had a force damage reduction effect of more than 40%. If Lin Yi's summons could still cause some damage to him before, now he is almost completely immune to damage. Too young. Never give food to a berserker. Why is the berserker a god with a large number of small monster copies? Just at this point, if you stack his status, no one can kill him. In the audience, countless people have sentenced Lin Yi to death, because at this moment, it is not an exaggeration to say that Yu Jingqing has entered his prime. Wait until all these undead monsters are killed by him. The scene of dealing with a mage without the protection of summons is too cruel, and I dare not think about it. More than 100 undead summons. After more than 10 seconds, they were completely solved. Yu Jingqing stood in the middle of a pile of monster corpses, covered in blood, like a god of war. "It's your turn," Yu Jingqing roared, and his eyes were red with killing. Now he couldn't stop. The next moment, he was ready to use his extremely fast movement speed to give Lin Yi a few fierce axes, but he saw Lin Yi's still indifferent expression. "You really know how to choose a place. Just stand in the middle." The next moment, before Yu Jingqing could react, he suddenly heard a terrifying roar. Bang! A monster corpse at his feet suddenly exploded. Blood plasma and rancid liquid burst, causing Yu Jingqing to pause, then, bang 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 bang. Like setting off firecrackers, the bodies around him seemed to have triggered some kind of chain reaction. They began to explode one after another. Hundreds of bodies exploded collectively. The ground of the entire Shenxiao arena was shaking wildly. On the big screen, where Yu Jingqing's status bar was marked, the health bar was emptied at the speed of light. 1 million health points, high damage reduction, so what? Instant kill. Chapter 93 The Strongest Freshman in Shenxiao's History. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Outside the arena gate, 5 figures came. These 5 people were both male and female, with strong auras, and they were all wearing uniforms with the crest of Shenxiao Academy printed on them. Judging by their age, you can tell that they are not students, but more like teachers. Is it over? Why is it so silent inside? The oldest of the 5, wearing a purple robe with gold-plated thunder patterns and gossip, said suspiciously. I told you already. I told you to hurry up. I just have to wait and see. Who won? Who won? Did the special boy win? By the way, I haven't paid attention to what profession he is and what skills he has. If I had known, I wouldn't have waited for you, I would have come directly. Is there a video? It would be a shame to miss it. Standing next to the old man in purple robe was a young man wearing a black windbreaker. It's just that his temperament is the weirdest among these 5 people, not to mention his dyed hair. He was also spinning an automatic pistol in his hand as if to show off his skills along the way. In just a few seconds, 7 or 8 sentences came out of his mouth. He is obviously the ultimate talkative person. Shut up. The speaker was a man dressed in black, and even his face was hidden under the mask of an evil spirit. The voice was obviously muddy and unclear. It was even impossible to tell whether he was a man or a woman just based on his appearance and voice characteristics. Completely opposite to Huang Mao's talkative physique, this masked man in black didn't speak at all during the whole journey. The only time he spoke was because he thought Huang Mao was too noisy and asked him to shut up. The 2 who walked at the end of the 5, one of them was only about 1.4 meters tall, short and stocky, with a big beard on his chin that almost reached the ground. The other person was tall and tall, wearing a snow-white robe, with pride almost overflowing from his chest, and his appearance was enough to shock everyone. 5 people walked into the arena. The next moment, he saw the big arena in the center of the field, a scene of serial corpse explosions. This 7th level skill of the necromantic system can be used when there is only 1 corpse. The damage caused by the detonation is really not even as high as the damage of the 5th level fire skill. It can be said to be the 7th level of shame. Once the number of corpses exceeds 10, the damage caused by the 7th level fire element Skyflame Dragon Breath will be basically the same. But now, the corpses of more than 100 monsters were detonated in a chain. The resulting explosion could be called a nuclear explosion. In the center of the entire arena, a mushroom cloud formed by the black energy of the necromantic system even rose. From the very beginning of the battle, Lin Yi knew that he might not be able to win this game through the Sea of Monsters tactics. His original plan was to test the strength of the 7th level skill of the necromantic system. I didn't expect to be such a supermodel. Ah! Located at the center of the nuclear explosion, Lin Yi could clearly hear the heartrending screams of his opponent, the second-year Berserker Senior. Pain. Severe pain. It broke our hearts. The million-level blood volume was emptied in an instant and dropped to 1 point. If it had been played in slow motion, someone would have noticed. In fact, not long after the nuclear explosion started, Yu Jingqing's blood volume had been completely emptied. Now, it would be no exaggeration to say that he owes Lin Yi more than a dozen tubes of blood. If it weren't for the enchantment law covering the entire arena that prevented Yu Jingqing from a lot of damage, he would have become a part of this corpse explosion feast. Lin Yi was also reflecting on himself. Well, in fact, he could have used the corpse explosion technique earlier. In particular, he can also actively control the blood volume of these undead monsters. If their blood volume control is arranged in a ladder-like manner from high to low, the blood volume of each one will be slightly different. It then simultaneously relinquishes control of them, making them neutral creatures, then use corpse explosion on one of the monster corpses. The explosion of the first corpse will kill the remaining monsters and turn them into new corpses. Then, the chain reactions piled up, and a wave of textbook-like blasphemy came true. Well, this technique can be used in actual combat in the future. Lin Yi completely realized the coordination between the various skills of the necromancy system. There is such a wonderful chemical reaction. The black smoke from the nuclear explosion dispersed. Lin Yi still stood on the ring unscathed, and Yu Jingqing, who was so mad just now, was rolling his eyes and lying on the ground, his body still twitching. Incredible. Our strongest freshman actually defeated a C-rated second-year senior. I declare that the winner of this battle is, classmate Lin Yi. He also completed his placement competition. The final grading result is C level 2678. This classmate Lin Yi has broken the highest record since the founding of our Shenxiao school. It can be called the strongest new student in the history of Shenxiao. After completing the qualifying competition, he was directly promoted to the middle of Class C. Let us give him the warmest applause. After the host Shuai Yang gave an impassioned explanation, the entire arena also burst into applause, even if they were not optimistic about Lin Yi before the game, but the results at this moment cannot be faked. The one standing in the field was Lin Yi, and the one who fell was Yu Jingqing. It's a bit scary, this new student. No wonder the necromancer class is a rare class. Didn't you expect it to be so strong? Did you see clearly just now? What kind of skill is that big explosion? Aren't the skills of the necromancer class all about summoning various underworld things to fight? Why is there such a powerful large-scale skill? We have to pay attention to this kid. The original idea of dealing with this kind of summoner class is to deal with their summons first. Without summons, they are equivalent to beasts without claws and fangs, and can only be slaughtered in the end. But now it seems that if you kill his summons, he seems to be able to recycle his dead summons. This is a bit tricky. In the audience, countless people talked about it. At this time, the 5 figures walking into the arena were also discovered by the careful director in the field. The next moment, countless spotlights hit them. The host Shuai Yang exclaimed, "Today is a day worth remembering. The wonderful battle attracted the deans of our 5 colleges in Shenxiao. Let's welcome them." Under the spotlight, the deans of the 5 colleges made a brilliant appearance. The young man with yellow hair threw his windbreaker, turned his back to everyone, and made a self-proclaimed handsome move. How embarrassing. Fuck, why does our dean look so second-rate? What do you know? This is called stylish. When you can get the connotation of Dean Huang, you can really become a core member of our Hui College. No need. In the audience, most people have already completed the division of colleges. Seeing their own deans at this moment, their reactions are different. The only ones who feel embarrassed are the archer department of Hui College. The purple-robed old man who led the 5 looked at Lin Yi, stroked his beard and smiled. Not bad, I have seen your performance in the 5th round of the exam. I didn't expect that you can even control the 7th level spells of the necromancy system. Since our Vice President Yang has given you a special admission opportunity. On behalf of the Dean of Fuxi College, I will also give you a special admission opportunity. How about it, classmate Lin Yi, are you willing to join our Fuxi College? Chapter 94. 5 mentors turned around for you. Lin Yi, I choose the big one. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh my god. Dean Xiao of Fuxi College has invited our strongest freshman ever to join the school. that the host Shui Liang screamed. The next moment, the faces of the students in the audience in the entire arena changed completely. Fuck. Can this be a special recruitment? You're breaking the rules again. Damn, when I first entered school, I endured more than 2 months before I passed the selection of the branch school. How could he be able to complete the branch school right after he came? Forget it, damn. Compare yourself. Lin Yi was also stunned. What does this mean? However, judging from the reactions of other people in the audience, it seems that this is another privilege that he has enjoyed alone. Dean Xiao, your invitation is too sudden, and he is a little confused. Although he is a mage, it is natural for him to join your Fushi college, but I am also interested in him. A soft but charming voice sounded. The woman in a white robe, with a pair of long legs exposed without reservation, spoke. Then, a pair of angel wings shining with holy light appeared behind her. As her wings flapped, she flew up lightly, and then landed on an empty seat on one side of the audience, looking at Lin Yi with interest. Hey, 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 hey. Sister Ruashi, why did you say what I wanted to say in advance? I should have been the second one to send an invitation. Yo. Boy. Do you want to join our Hoi Academy? I am very optimistic about you. How about I teach you personally? Who said that a mage can't use a gun? Attaching magic to bullets, this idea is really cool. I guarantee that you will be able to break through to the A-level rating in a very short time. How about it, what do you think? The yellow-haired man was anxious, and his mouth said a lot of words like a machine gun. Shut up. The masked man in black spoke again. He really couldn't stand the existence of such an extremely noisy and chattering person around him. However, after using the silencing spell on the yellow-haired man, his eyes under the mask looked at Lin Yi. You, come to me. Very suitable. After the black-clothed man finished speaking, the short and strong bearded man who had been standing next to him spread his hands. Boy, the person you just killed was from my Chiyu Academy. I wanted to invite you too. But you are a mage. What I hate most in my life is mages like you who only know how to kite people from a distance. So forget it. As soon as the bearded man said this, the dean of Fushi Academy was unhappy. That's called tactics. What a wretched kite, Lao Qin, you can't speak, so don't speak. The bearded man glared and said angrily, Xiao, do you dare to fight with me? You haven't lost enough, are you looking for abuse? Sure enough, the two professions of mage and warrior are natural enemies. The mage thought the warrior was short-legged and could be easily abused by keeping a distance. The warrior thought the mage was a wretched coward and would be chopped hundreds of times by him if he got close to him. They were not convinced by each other. In any case, 4 deans have now invited Lin Yi to join their colleges. This made others envious. Li Yuanjing, who was watching all this in the audience, was even more stunned. He had expected that Lin Yi's branch would be easy, but he didn't expect it to be so easy. On the first day of school, he was directly invited by the 4 major colleges at the same time. In fact, strictly speaking, it should be considered that the 5 major colleges are interested in Lin Yi. 4 deans, I just arrived at Shenxiao today. I don't know what advantages your colleges have and what benefits they can bring to me. Li Yuanjing almost laughed out loud when he heard this. He saw it. This kid is really a straight shooter. He didn't intend to beat around the bush and started talking about the benefits directly. When Lin Yi said this, the several deans who invited him were also stunned. Then it was Huang Mao who reacted first and said quickly, It's our fault. We forgot to introduce you. I am Huang Xiaotian, the dean of the Archer Department of Hoi College. The advantage of our college is that we have a lot of equipment and the equipment is good. If you don't believe me, ask the people in our college. We consume the most firearms, ammunition, and bows. The boss of the Shenxiao Equipment Logistics Department is my best friend. As long as you come to our Hoi College, I will give you a set of Showa star-level equipment directly, and send it to you directly. After Huang Xiaotian finished speaking, the masked man in black who had been silent all this time just said 2 words lightly, Me too. The purple-robed old man shook his head and said to Lin Yi, This taciturn dean is from your family. His name is Lin Qi, and he is the Dean of Zhu Jiuing College, the Assassin Department. I am Xiao Yunsheng, as you can see, the Dean of Fuxi College, the Mage Department. Joining Fuxi College is undoubtedly the best for you. I am also willing to take some time every week to personally lead you in the dungeon and give you professional guidance on the mage profession. Finally, it was the turn of the white-robed woman. I am Lan Ruoxi, the Dean of Niuhua College, the Priest Department. Well, the advantages and benefits of joining our college. Let me think. Lan Ruoxi thought for a moment, and finally shook her head. In terms of compatibility, the priest and mage systems are somewhat related, but it's really not that big. But the benefits I can give you are also obvious. Speaking of this, Lan Ruoxi's hand flashed, and a staff inlaid with white holy crystal appeared in her hand. Later, Lin Yi didn't see her singing. The entire arena was filled with the beautiful music of angels singing in unison. In the high sky of the arena, auspicious clouds appeared, and among the auspicious clouds, a golden light fell. Several feathers surrounded Lin Yi's side. The next second, Lin Yi discovered that he had received a buff effect. Holy Hymn increases all skill points you obtain by 10%, and increases all experience points you obtain by 10%, lasting 24 hours. Lin Yi was shocked. Damn it. Acquire skill points and obtain experience points to double enhance buff. This kind of skill is a dream for all professionals. What Lin Yi didn't know was that the priest department did have this kind of benefit that could make other professionals grow quickly, but the cost of each cast is huge. It consumes a lot of precious resources, and this skill itself is also a level 7 skill. Most pastors simply don't. I can give you such a buff every day. Lan Ruoxi was sitting in the audience, wearing a close-fitting white priest's robe that showed off her explosive figure. In addition, his voice was soft and strong, and with just a few movements of his hands, he said such shocking words once a day. In an instant, the entire audience was shocked. Ah! I also want Sister Ruoxi's blessing. Oh! I'm so envious of me. Can I get the favor of Big Sister Ruoxi every day? 10% increase in skill points and experience points. Please kill me. See this scene. Xiao Yunsheng, who originally thought he had a chance to win, felt an ominous premonition in his heart. Soon, the ominous premonition in his heart became a reality. I choose Niuhua College. Just kidding. For choices, a chatty one, a social phobic, and an old man. Finally, there is a plump lady who can add buff to herself every day. Lin Yi couldn't find any reason to refuse. Please recommend and vote for me. Monthly tickets. Chapter 95, Receive supplies, allocate accommodation, and make others envious. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Lin Yi's final choice, Xiao Yunqing glanced at Lan Ruoxi with some resentment. When Lan Ruoxi said that she could give Lin Yi a holy hymn blessing buff every day at the expense of a large amount of precious materials, he knew that he had lost today. Their Fuxi Academy lost an excellent mage seedling. To be honest, for a mage genius like Lin Yi who specializes in multiple departments and has added multiple departments to high levels, Xiao Yunqing was also willing to pour out resources for him, and the energy and training efforts spent in the end were estimated to be no less than Lan Ruoxi. But experience acquisition acceleration and skill point acquisition acceleration, he can't give it. Looking at the entire Shenxiao, only Niuhua Academy has this exclusive benefit. Thinking of this, Xiao Yunqing shook his head and said to Lin Yi, I feel sorry that you didn't choose Fuxi College in the end. But our Fuxi College never excludes people who are eager for magic knowledge. During your time in Shenxiao, as long as you are willing, you can come to our Fuxi College to audit any course at any time. If you have any questions about magic, you can also come to me. After Xiao Yunqing finished speaking, he left the scene. However, the importance he attached to Lin Yi and his words still shocked all the onlookers in the audience. Is this the treatment of the strongest freshman in history? Fuxi College never excludes outsiders. Just listen to this sentence. Except for Lin Yi, you, a student from Chiyu College, dare to audit the class. I'll break your legs. After Xiao Yunqing left, the deans of the other colleges also left. In the end, only Lan Ruoxi was left. Welcome to join our Niuhua Academy. If your blessing status disappears later, you can come to me at any time and I will help you to renew it. Speaking of this, Lan Ruoshi tilted her head slightly and said to one of the senior students of Niuhua Academy sitting behind her, Xiao Ling, please help Lin Yi to handle our admission procedures. By the way, there seem to be several empty villas in our academy. Please help him pick one and have someone clean it. As soon as Lan Ruoshi said this, Lin Yi instantly felt countless students from Shenxiao Academy looking at him with great envy. Single villa apartment. This is the accommodation condition that only students with A-level rating or above are eligible to choose. Students with C-level and below can only live in collective dormitories. The person whose name was called by Lan Ruoshi was a girl. Nangong Ling was still absent from work just now. At this moment, he was called by the dean, or was touched by his good girlfriends, and then he suddenly realized, Okay. Lin Yi looked at Nangong Ling. This senior sister is tall, with black hair falling to her waist like a waterfall, too well proportioned, slender and stylish long legs are covered by a layer of elastic white silk. Lin Yi is not a leg control, but when he sees Nangong Ling's legs, he has to sigh that he can play with them for a year. If Lan Ruoshi gives people the feeling of a mature queen, then Nangong Ling is like a lively girl who just walked out of anime. At the same time, Nangong Ling has noticed Lin Yi for a long time. This junior brother is very handsome. And he is also very strong. For a moment, Nangong Ling went from being nervous at first to being interested. Nangong Ling and Lin Yi walked out of the arena. She smiled warmly and said to Lin Yi, "Hello, junior, my name is Nangong Ling. You are currently in the 3rd year. I have asked the dormitory management committee to help you clean your room, but it will take some time. I will take you to pick up your freshman welfare package and today's resources with C-level rating. Then I will take you to visit several major teaching facilities of Shenxiao." Lin Yi, everything is arranged by senior sister. Nangong Ling led the way in front, and Lin Yi followed behind. The two mixed in the crowd. They could attract a lot of attention from time to time. This guy must be a pervert. Otherwise, why would he choose Niuhua College, which is full of girls? Woo woo woo. I still don't have a girlfriend. Why is he surrounded by so many beauties as soon as he comes in? Just accept your fate. Our Chiyu College is like this. The dogs guarding the dormitory door are all male, and they have been single for more than 10 years. Zhanjiao has no human rights. Why do girls like the wizard? Guess why the wizard is called the master. Such discussions were heard from time to time behind the two along the way. Nangong Ling may be used to it and didn't care at all, and Lin Yi was also secretly happy, so most of the girls in the entire Niuhua College are girls. He suddenly remembered that he studied in the art department in his previous life. There are also many girls in the art department and foreign language department, and the sports department next door is probably similar to the current situation of Chiyu College. Follow Nangong Ling all the way. Lin Yi also gradually realized that Shenxiao was much larger than he thought before. When he was on the aircraft, he felt that Shenxiao was built on a giant aerospace mothership, so the area should not be too large, but after entering the school, he found that the space proportions seemed to be a little wrong. The area inside Shenxiao, Lin Yi preliminarily estimated, is at least half the size of Daijing. Our Shenxiao is divided into 6 main areas. Among them, our Niuhua Academy occupies the northwest campus, the center of the school, and the largest area, mainly with various functional facilities and teaching facilities. Nangong Ling took Lin Yi for half an hour, and did not even leave the central area of Shenxiao. A few minutes later, Nangong Ling pointed to a building in front and said to Lin Yi, "We are here. This is the logistics building of our school. Under the building is the treasure circulation place. After you earn enough credits, you can come here to exchange resources. By the way, give me your professional magnetic card." Lin Yi took out his professional magnetic card from the portable space and handed it to Nangong Ling. The two walked into the logistics building. After Nangong Ling made some operations, he returned to Lin Yi, handed the 2 magnetic cards to Lin Yi. "I have completed your registration. Your professional magnetic card is useless in Shenxiao. This is your student card, which contains all your personal information. In addition, this student card can store Daxia coins and Shenxiao credits. This card is very important anywhere in Shenxiao. Don't lose it. The replacement procedure is very troublesome. Lin Yi accepted his student card. On the other side, Nangong Ling also took Lin Yi down to the treasure circulation area in the basement of the logistics building. Finding a window, Nangong Ling smiled and said to the teacher in charge, "Teacher Zhao, I brought a new student to receive his freshman resource package." Soon, Lin Yi's freshman gift package was delivered to him. "Here, Junior, this is your exclusive welfare package for admission. You can get it without consuming credits. Everyone who enters Shenxiao will get a share. Entrance qualifications for 10 copies of the first floor of the sanctuary, 10 breakthrough magic crystals, and 10 attribute magic crystals. Then there are your sea-level daily benefits. You don't have to worry about this because you already have your own private residence, so today's supplies will be sent directly to your apartment. By the way, Junior, I heard that you have now obtained the qualification to participate in the 0th floor of the Jianyuan copy. This early registration is also for this, right?" Chapter 96 Desperate Sprint. Earn 1,000 credits in one day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Yi pricked up his ears when he heard Nangong Ling talking about the 0th floor of Jianyuan. This was indeed the purpose of his early registration this time. Now that you have completed the grading, and you are still at level C, you should be able to catch up. Nangong Ling began to try to help Lin Yi analyze. According to the enrollment situation of most freshmen, if you are only E level after grading, you will not be eligible to participate in the competition for the special copy of the 0th floor of the Abyss. For D level, the hope is very slim, because at this level, the number of credits you can earn every day is too limited, and there are too few dungeons that can be entered. Lin Yi heard this and quickly asked, "Senior Nangong, what are the requirements for participating in this special 0-level dungeon competition of Falling Abyss?" Nangong Ling said, "It's very simple, just 2 requirements. One is that you must be qualified to participate in the 0th level of the Abyss. At the same time, your rating must be above D level. The second thing is that you have to spend 1,000 credits, so register as soon as possible. Our Academy's most difficult special dungeon of the 0th level of the Abyss is called Heart of the Swarm. The difficulty and rewards are the highest among the 0th level of the Abyss discovered so far in the entire Blue Star. But it is precisely because of the special nature of this dungeon that every time the dungeon is opened, only 200 people can enter." Speaking of this, Lin Yi noticed that Nangong Ling's expression suddenly changed. She took out her phone and looked at the time, then he said in surprise, "No. I seem to have estimated the wrong time. I thought you had 2 days to prepare. But just now I looked through the official announcement from the Academy Dungeon Sanctuary, and it seems that the Heart of the Swarm will be opened in advance. The original expected opening time was 1 week later, but now the estimated opening time is 3 days later. That registration starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, which means you have to earn 1,000 credits within today." How is this possible? That when Lin Yi heard this, he also realized the seriousness of the matter. It's really hard to keep up with the changes in plans. Unexpectedly, the original week was compressed to 3 days again, although he didn't know how difficult it was to obtain credits. Looking at Nangong Ling's appearance, it was obvious that credits were not that easy to obtain in Shenxiao. "Senior, how can I earn credits? Maybe there is still a chance." Nangong Ling took Lin Yi's hand, walked out of the treasure circulation area, and walked in a certain direction. "We'll talk as we walk. There are 3 main ways to obtain credits. The daily rewards for rating include credits. The credits earned every day for a C-level rating are 50 to 100 credits. The higher the ranking, the more credits you get. But through this method, you will definitely not be able to collect 1,000 credits. Then there's the mission. The mission hall of our school publishes hundreds of missions every day, ranging from helping people find objects to killing specific targets, or going to deal with crisis incidents somewhere in our country. There are all kinds of missions. The higher the difficulty of the task, the more points will be awarded. But most difficult tasks have a very long task cycle, and it's too late for you. Finally, it's just a matter of brushing up the copy. Every time you clear the dungeon, you will be rewarded with 20 to 50 credits depending on the difficulty of the dungeon. With your current sea level rating, the highest difficulty dungeon you can reach is Sky Temple. Each time you clear the level, you will be rewarded with 25 credits. You still have 10 opportunities to enter the dungeon today. Counting these, you only have more than 500 credits. How to do it? Nangong Ling frowned. It was obvious that she was worried about Lin Yi now. Nangong Ling gritted his teeth, and finally suddenly pulled Lin Yi to a remote and uninhabited place, and then said, "Junior, I will give you 500 credits now, but don't tell anyone about this. When the time comes, you can earn enough credits and pay them back to me." Listening to his senior sister's tone, Lin Yi guessed something. "Senior, if I guess correctly, trading credits between each other should be strictly prohibited in our school, right?" Nangong Ling's pretty face was startled, then nodded, "Yes, because this is related to graduation and assessment. If credits are allowed to be traded, it is equivalent to cheating. But although this kind of thing is prohibited on the surface, it is too common for people to trade credits with each other in private. It's okay, Junior, as long as you don't say anything, it'll be okay." Lin Yi shook his head. "If you are discovered, there must be punishment, right? And the credits are entered into the spiritual crystal system. If it is found out, the evidence will be conclusive. Senior Nangong, although we just met today, I really appreciate your kindness. I can't let you take risks. Let's think of something else. If it doesn't work out, I'll choose the other 2 dungeons that are slightly less difficult, or I'll be fine if I wait another half a year." Lin Yi is not so selfish as to risk others being punished in order to benefit himself. What's more, if he is discovered in the end, he will certainly not be able to escape being punished. "Okay, I was too impatient just now. Indeed, if you are discovered, Junior, you have just entered school, and you may be at risk of being expelled." Bah, bah, bah. Blame me, blame me. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to Nangong Ling's gaffe. Instead, she continued following her previous train of thought. "Senior sister, you just said that the third way to obtain credits is to clear dungeons. Then besides clearing the dungeon, is there no other way to earn credits? For example, refresh the copy record." That was reminded by Lin Yi. Nangong Ling's eyes lit up, but it soon dimmed again. "It's a great idea, but it's so difficult. Refresh the dungeon record and get 10 times the credits of clearing the dungeon. Let's use the Sky Temple dungeon as an example. If you refresh the clearance record, you can get 250 points. But it's not that easy to set a new record. This copy of the Sky Temple has existed for more than 100 years. In the past 100 years, countless Shenxiao students have passed the level, and the record has long been brushed to a state that is almost impossible to break. The maximum entry level for this dungeon is level 60. I can't even ask my friends to enter the dungeon with you and complete the dungeon together. The enrollment for the new semester of our Nuwa College this year has not officially started yet. Most of the people who are at the same level as you and can form a team with you are even still spending their summer vacation. Well. Nangong Ling began to sigh again. Lin Yi was already relieved. Since there is a credit reward for refreshing the copy record, then this matter will be easier to handle. Senior, it's okay. I don't need to form a team. I can do it alone. Where is the copy of Sky Temple you just mentioned? I want to try it. Please recommend me a monthly pass. Chapter 97 Thunder Points. The most special mechanism. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All the dungeons in our academy are in the dungeon sanctuary. I was planning to take you there, but now you want to try to play the Sky Temple dungeon alone, so I'll take you to our academy's library first. I'll help you get a library card there and register an account, so that if you have time, you can go there to check the clearance strategies for all the existing dungeons in our academy. If you don't have time, you can also use your account to log into our academy's internal forum and retrieve information from the archives and library. Nangong Ling was not too surprised that Lin Yi wanted to play the Sky Temple dungeon alone. In fact, this is a very common phenomenon in Shenxiao. Everyone is a genius boy, and playing a dungeon alone is easy, but Nangong Ling still suggested to Lin Yi to look at the dungeon strategy first. Lin Yi also agreed with this point. Sharpening the knife does not delay the chopping of wood. It is better to know the situation in the dungeon in advance than to slowly explore it later. What's more, what he is pursuing now is to break the record and speed through, so reading the strategy can save more time. More than 10 minutes later, Lin Yi and Nangong Ling walked out of the Shenxiao library. Now you should be able to log into our school's forum, try it. Nangong Ling took out his mobile phone. They had added each other as friends before. Now Nangong Ling sent Lin Yi a string of Shenxiao internal campus network URLs. After Lin Yi opened it, he entered his name and the password he had just filled in when he registered. Sure enough, he logged in. If I remember correctly, the Sky Temple is on the first floor of the dungeon sanctuary. With your current rating, you should be able to check the relevant strategy. Under Nangong Ling's guidance, Lin Yi quickly became familiar with the various sections and entry indexes of the Shenxiao campus forum. Under the category of the strategy area, Lin Yi really saw the dungeon information of the dungeon sanctuary first floor, Sky Temple. Click to enter. Lin Yi received a prompt, deducted 0 credits, and the relevant strategy has been downloaded to the mobile phone. Strategies also cost credits. It's just that the credits for the first level dungeon as a benefit for freshmen have been reduced to 0 by our school. After the second level, you need to spend credits to look up strategies for related dungeons. But the credits consumed are not many, basically in the single digit. Don't worry. Nangong Ling explained to Lin Yi while walking to the dungeon sanctuary. Lin Yi nodded, opened the dungeon strategy of the Sky Temple, and started reading it. Sky Temple, Surface Dungeon, Entry Level, LV.45-60. Dungeon Map Size, Medium. Number of Dungeon Bosses, 3. Number of Common Monsters in Dungeon, 300 plus. Overall difficulty of Dungeon, Medium. The best clearance record of this dungeon so far. In 5-player team mode, 3 minutes 27 seconds 29. In single-player mode, 6 minutes 11 seconds 68. Attention! This dungeon has a special mechanism, Kern's Protection. If the final boss, the Priestess Hera, is not defeated, all monsters in this dungeon have a high magic damage reduction of 75%. At the same time, most of the monsters in this dungeon are mage monsters, and their magic resistance is extremely high. For all teams with magic output as the core, the difficulty of this dungeon has increased from medium to high difficulty. It is recommended that the personnel configuration of the strategy team should focus on physical output. The dungeon evaluation and introduction at the beginning of the strategy made Lin Yi a little surprised. Nangong Ling, who was standing by, actually opened his own account and checked the strategy of Sky Temple, because it had been so long since she cleared this dungeon. Seeing the strategy now awakened her memories of the ancient times. Ah! I forgot that there was such a special mechanism. Junior, how about changing to another dungeon? This dungeon is very difficult for magic professions. It is almost impossible to break the 6-minute record. Nangong Ling also thought of the high-level necromancy skills that Lin Yi had shown in the third battle of the qualifying match. However, for the monsters in this dungeon, the 75% magic damage reduction plus high magic resistance really made it impossible to blow them up. It was completely at the disadvantage of Lin Yi's profession, so she asked Lin Yi to try another dungeon. Lin Yi shook his head. No, I can only enter the dungeon on the first floor at present. Among the 5 dungeons on the first floor, this dungeon has the most credits for breaking the record. I want to get 1,000 credits, and it must be possible to break the records of all 5 dungeons. This dungeon can never be bypassed. Nangong Ling was speechless. Yes, if he wants to earn 1,000 credits in one day, Lin Yi needs to refresh not only this dungeon's clearance record, he needs to refresh all 5 dungeons. For a moment, Nangong Ling didn't know how to give Lin Yi advice, but Lin Yi gradually had ideas in his mind. High magic damage reduction plus high magic resistance, for him, is indeed a bit tricky. But it is only limited to the fact that he does not use spells above level 8, the rule of big force can make bricks fly. One force can break all laws is also applicable to the entire blue star. No matter how abnormal your monster's mechanism is, no matter how special the dungeon mechanism is, as long as I use skills that are much higher than the dungeon and monster level, in most cases, I can ignore your mechanism and crush you. A divine fire sky expedition smashed down. Lin Yi believed that the entire sky temple would be destroyed by him, but his current goal was not to overturn the entire instance, but to pass the instance quickly while keeping the instance alive, so it was impossible to use spells above level 8, and the damage of spells below level 7 of the current 4 systems of fire, wind, ice, and necromancy would be greatly reduced. Lin Yi should be able to kill indiscriminately in the Sky Temple, but the monsters from the Noah ruins in his necromancy space were already somewhat behind the version. Lin Yi even planned to use them as detonators for corpse explosions. Finally, Lin Yi turned his attention to the thunder spells he had obtained before: electric shock, type, active skill, level, primary, system, thunder system, consumption, 30 mana, chanting time, 1 second, cooling time, none, effect, electric shock the target, causing a small amount of thunder damage to the target, and the damage has a penetrating effect. Note, all lightning skills have low base damage, but relatively speaking, the attribute and magic attack bonus are high, and when you gradually improve the specialization level of lightning skills, the damage penetration ratio of all skills in this system will also be strengthened. Current penetration ratio, 10%. Like other elemental magic, the lightning system also has its own special mechanism for this system, that is, penetration. In simple terms, when causing lightning attribute damage, a certain percentage of the target's magic resistance and damage reduction effects are ignored, and after upgrading, the penetration ratio of all lightning spells will be synchronously strengthened. This should be the most special mechanism among Lin Yi's skills so far. So, the lightning system is added to a high level. Does it mean that it can deal real damage? Chapter 98 Forbidden Spell Thundergod's Wrath. What is true damage? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Wrath of the Thunder God. What is real harm? With this expectation, Lin Yi opened his skill interface. Currently allocable skill points, 3,329,783. Lin Yi didn't even add any extra points during this month's summer vacation. No money was spent on gold. Now his skill points have reached more than 3 million. Clicking on the Thunder skill tree, Lin Yi started adding points with one click. Consume 500 skill points. Your electric shock has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Palm Thunder. Consuming 2,000 skill points, your Palm Thunder has been upgraded, and you have gained a new spell, Thunder Punishment. Consume 5,000 skill points, your Thunder Punishment has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, 5 Thunder Strikes. Consume 10,000 skill points, your 5 Thunder Strikes have been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Thunder Curse. Consume 50,000 skill points, your Thunder Curse has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Thunderbolt Flash. Consumption of 100,000 skill points, your Thunderbolt Flash has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, 10 Directions Thunder Prison. Consumption of 500,000 skill points, your Shifang Lei Prison has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Zixiao Tribulation Sword. Increase it to level 8 in one go. While Lin Yi was still on the road, he began to check the 8 skills of the Thunder system. Looking along the way, Lin Yi found that it was worth mentioning the 6th level and 8th level skills, Thunderbolt Flash, type, active skills, level 6, department, Thunder Department, consumption, 15,000 mana, singing time, none. Cooling time, 10 minutes, effect, transform into thunder and lightning, give yourself an extremely fast acceleration, perform a space flash, and increase the power of your next normal attack within a short time after the flash lands. Maximum flashing distance, 100 meters, flash speed, depending on the environment, the maximum speed can be increased to the speed of light. When the flash starts and after the flash lands, the 100% dodge effect is obtained for a short period of time. Note, have you ever been kicked at the speed of light? Lin Yi has seen more than once that high-level mage masters use this kind of displacement skill that can teleport to a certain location instantly. This skill is characterized by one word, quick. There are almost no flight trajectory restrictions, it's like a direct flash. Now, he finally has similar skills. Then there are the 8th level lightning skills, Purple Sky Tribulation Sword, also sounds very cultivating style. Purple Sky Tribulation Sword, type, active skills, level, 8th level, department, Thunder Department, consumption, 50,000 mana, singing time, 45 seconds, cooling time, 24 hours, effect, summon the Purple Sky Thunder, forming a giant thunder sword to bombard down, causing high thunder attribute damage to all targets within a wide range. When the health of all targets struck by the Zhixiao Tribulation Sword drops below 10%, they will be killed immediately. This beheading effect is a force trigger and ignores damage immunity, death immunity, and invincibility-like effects below level 9 on the target. Remarks: the radiant power of heaven is drawn with the sword. Killing effect. Moreover, it ignores all invincibility and death-free effects below level 9 and is forced to trigger. This is a bit scary. There are many bosses in the abyss, and blood-locking mechanisms are not uncommon. Generally speaking, it will bring a lot of pressure and challenges to the team that conquers the copy, but with the Zhixiao Tribulation Sword, Lin Yi can blast down with an 8th level thunder element, completely ignoring various mechanisms and directly killing the boss instantly. Except for these two special skills, other lightning skills are basically the same as other elemental skills. The higher the level, the higher the damage and the wider the range, that is to say, the 7th level, 10. Directions Thunder Prison, also has paralysis and stun effects, which can make up for some control effects that the Thunder system does not have, but the most critical thing is that penetration effect. After upgrading the Thunder system to the 8th level, Lin Yi discovered that the penetration effects were marked below all the skills in the entire Thunder system skill tree, increased from 10% to 90%. Although the basic damage of Thunder skills is low, the bonus is high. It is foreseeable that the bonus to his attributes and magic attack power will be raised in the future. The Thunder system will definitely become his highest damage skill system so far, even beyond the fire element. Looking at the column of skill points that can be allocated, there is still a balance of more than 2 million, Lin Yi felt a little itchy. 90% penetration is already incredible, but Lin Yi always felt that this 10% difference was a little uncomfortable. Never mind. Skill points can still be saved. Now add the Thunder element to the 9th level forbidden spell first. Open your skill bar again, add points with one click. Consumption of 1 million skill points. Your Zhixiao Tribulation Sword has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Forbidden Curse Thundergod's Wrath. Forbidden Curse Thundergod's Wrath, type, active skills, level 9, department, Thunder Department, consumption, 1 million mana, singing time, 180 seconds. Cooling time, 3 days, passive effect. Now when all your Thunder skills cause damage, the damage type changes to true damage. Active effect, with the Wrath of God, summon a world-destroying lightning spear to bombard, causing huge Thunder attribute damage to all targets within the extremely large range. The world-destroying lightning spear exists for 10 minutes, and releases a thunderstorm every 10 seconds to all targets in the extremely large range, causing a lot of damage, and adding a layer of God's Wrath mark to all targets. When the world-destroying lightning spear disappears, it will release another big explosion, causing huge Thunder attribute damage to all targets at a certain rate of the number of God's Wrath mark layers, and stun them for 10 seconds. You can release the world-destroying lightning spear at any time to detonate the God's Wrath mark. Release the world-destroying lightning spear in advance, and the skill will be returned for a certain cooldown time. Note, God said, "Let there be light," and the world had the first lightning. Comfortable. After Lin Yi saw the passive effect of Thundergod's Wrath, completely comfortable. Now, all his Thunder skills directly hit true damage. True damage is the most real damage in this world. Ignore magic resistance, ignore damage reduction. The damage described on the skill is how much damage it deals. Armor is just paper, magic resistance is just empty. Counting the fire forbidden spell, Lin Yi now has 2 forbidden spells. Awesome. Lin Yi looked at the evolution path of the Thunder forbidden spell again. Evolution version, forbidden spell incarnation, ancient Thunder spirit, currency required for evolution, 2 million Daxia coins, Skill points required for evolution, 1 million. The evolution version of the Thunder Forbidden spell, the name looks like the 8th level of the fire system. It should be a transformation skill, however, at this stage, I definitely don't consider continuing to invest skill points in the Thunder system, since I started to add skill points that I had been holding back for more than a month today. Lin Yi simply added them to my heart's content. This time, he looked at his 3 current passive skills, God's Grace Chanting, Mana Storm, Immortal Dharma Body. These 3 passive skills are now all at level 7, they were sufficient before, so Lin Yi did not continue to upgrade these 3 passive skills. Now is the time to raise them again. Please recommend and vote for me. Chapter 99, Magic Tide. The era of forbidden spells without mana consumption begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Yi's skill list at this moment, there are a total of 5 specialization categories with dozens of skills. To be honest, Lin Yi felt that his current active skills were too many, counting forbidden spells. Each system has 9 active skills, but the passive skills are too few. But this is also the norm for low-career professionals in this world, because the drop rate of active skill books is extremely rare. Then the drop rate of passive skills is abnormal. Perhaps the annual output of the entire bacteria is within 30,000 volumes, and basically as soon as it comes out, it will be snapped up instantly. The way for most professionals to acquire passive skills is through job transfer tasks and completing job transfer assessments. Every time you change professions, at least one orthodox passive skill of your profession will be awakened randomly. Lin Yi currently has more than 1.8 million skill points left. The remaining skill points are enough to increase all 3 passive skills to level 8, or let one of the skills be upgraded from level 7 to level 9 forbidden spell level. For passive skills, the 9th level is the pinnacle, and there is no way to evolve to the ancient forbidden curse or the super divine forbidden curse. Should the 3 passives be spread out to level 8, or should one be specialized in one and reach the highest level? Think again and again. Lin Yi finally chose the former. These 3 passive skills are all so useful. Overall, improving all 3 skills is definitely the most beneficial, and this can also provide you with the judgment to advance a certain skill again. The next time he upgrades the 3 passives to the forbidden spell level, he will be able to quickly determine the order. After making up his mind, Lin Yi started adding points with one click. Upgrading the passive skill, Mana Storm to level 8 requires 500,000 skill points. Do you want to add points to upgrade with one click? Consumption of 500,000 skill points. Your passive skill Mana Storm has been advanced, and you have gained a new passive skill, Magic Tide. Upgrading the passive skill, Divine Grace Chant to level 8 requires 500,000 skill points. Do you want to add points to upgrade with one click? Consumption of 500,000 skill points. Your passive skill Divine Grace Chant has been advanced, and you have gained a new passive skill, Holy Spirit Chant. Upgrading the passive skill, Immortal Dharmakaya to level 8 requires 500,000 skill points. Do you want to add points to upgrade with one click? Consumption of 500,000 skill points. Your passive skill Immortal Dharma Body has been advanced, and you have gained a new passive skill, Elemental Absorption. 1.5 million skill points are directly thrown out. Lin Yi directly added all 3 passive skills to level 8. Lin Yi opened the skill bar and checked them one by one. Magic Tide, type, passive skill, level, 8th level, department, general department, effect 1, the mana cost of all spells you cast is reduced by 80%, and the maximum mana you obtain from all sources is increased by 10 times. You recover 10% of your maximum mana every second. Effect 2, now your total mana will continue to rise and fall in a tidal manner. You can actively adjust this skill mode to low tide or high tide mode. When this skill mode is at its lowest point, your total mana limit will be reduced by 50%, and your mana recovery speed will be reduced by 50%. When you switch to the high tide period, every time you stay in the low tide stage for 1 hour, when you are in the high tide stage, your total mana limit will be increased by 10%, and your mana recovery speed will be increased by 10%. This effect will allow you to gain up to 10% in the high tide stage. 100% bonus mana cap, 100% bonus mana recovery speed. Effect 3, every 6 hours, you can obtain a layer of tidal charge. When holding tidal charge, you can cast any specialized spell below level 9 for free once. The current number of times it can take effect, 3 times, maximum stack the number of additions is 10. When you obtain 10 layers of tidal charge, you can choose to consume 10 layers of charge at once, so that the mana consumed by a 9th level spell becomes 0, which will last until you use the spell next time. The maximum number of effective spells for this effect is 3, note, only when you stay in the low tide period for more than 3 hours can you switch to the high tide period. The longer you stay in the low tide period, the longer the battery life will be when you switch to the high tide period. Current mode, low tide period, tide exchange ratio, 60 minutes of low tide period equals 10 minutes of high tide period. Remarks, the moon rises and the moon sets, the tides rise and fall, all things are permanent. After Lin Yi saw this skill, everyone was a little confused. No, you guys with level 8 skills are so fond of making small compositions. But after thoroughly understanding this skill, Lin Yi became excited. Now I have the 8th level passive skill of recovering mana and reducing mana consumption. If I have to use metaphors, there are 2 modes, one is power saving mode, one is overclocking mode. In the power saving mode, it is obviously saving power for the overclocking mode, allowing the overclocking mode to explode with higher performance. And applied in practice, when Lin Yi is eating, drinking, and not fighting in daily life, he can completely turn on the low ebb mode, when completing dungeons, killing monsters, or completing tasks that require combat, turn on the climax mode, directly double his mana limit. This point is key. Very critical. Because this effect is finally settled after other effects that increase the mana limit are calculated. Judging from Lin Yi's current level of 60, the attributes of wearing the Eternal Rest suit, at this moment, his mana limit has exceeded 200,000. After getting the magic tide, at the climax, he has 400,000 mana. Even if he doesn't have the free casting layers of the tide charge, Lin Yi can use his mana to cast several 8th level skills at this moment. And the million mana consumption of the forbidden spell is still a bit against the sky and exaggerated. This is what Lin Yi has been worried about before, because he has the forbidden spell, but he can't use it. There is only one way to use the forbidden spell, that is to use the 8th level fire spirit sublimation of the fire system first. In the sublimation state, he can release forbidden spell 8 Desolate Sky Meteorite, once without mana consumption, but it is limited to fire forbidden spells. The Thundergod's Wrath that he just got can't be used in the fire spirit sublimation state. Now it's alright. The free casting layers given by Magic Tide have been increased from a maximum of 3 layers to a maximum of 10 layers, and consuming 10 layers of charge can directly reduce the mana cost of a forbidden spell to 0. This effect can also be used for 3 spells. It allows Lin Yi to reduce the mana cost of 3 different forbidden spells to 0 in advance through advanced preparation, in case of emergency. Cool. Ha! Junior, we are here. The dungeon sanctuary is in front. You have 10 opportunities to enter the first dungeon today. You need to show your student card and swipe it to enter. Nangong Ling's words suddenly woke Lin Yi from the excitement of adding points and upgrading skills. Lin Yi raised his head and saw that a round tower that he had seen since entering Shenxiao had appeared in front of him. Only when you get closer to this round tower can you find its majesty. Looking up, the end of the tower even connects to the dark outer space, making it look sacred and solemn. Chapter 100, Combat Power Surges. Elemental Damage Immunity, Instant Forbidden Spells. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Junior, what's wrong with you? What were you thinking about just now? Don't be too nervous. If you can't break the clearance record, I'll help you think of a way. Or we can go find Dean Ruoshi, she will definitely have a way. Nangong Ling thought Lin Yi was worried about his credits. Little did he know that in just over 10 minutes, Lin Yi first added the 9th level forbidden spell from the originally elementary thunder skill tree, then he upgraded the 7th level blue returning passive skill to the 8th level. It's such an earth-shattering event, but Lin Yi seemed to be just distracted. It's okay, it's okay. I was thinking about something just now. No nerves. Lin Yi could only laugh to relieve his embarrassment. after entering the dungeon sanctuary, Lin Yi found that there were many entrances to the entire giant round tower. At this moment, in addition to himself and Nangong Ling, there were also a large number of Shenxiao students lining up to enter. The two chose a less crowded entrance. Soon Lin Yi and Nangong Ling were lined up, at the gate. A fully armed Shenxiao school security professional with a strength level of 6 levels under the omniscient eye, raised his hand and stopped the two of them. Both students, please stop. Please swipe your card to confirm the number of admissions. The two took out their student cards and scanned them on the spiritual crystal card reader. Then the green light came on. Lin Yi, Newhua College, 1st grade, number of copies remaining today, 10. Nangong Ling, Newhua College, grade 3, number of copies remaining today, 78. Lin Yi saw the number of Nangong Ling's admissions. I felt a little envious for a moment. Nangong Ling clenched his fists and said with a smile, "Don't look at your senior sister, I haven't reached the level of one of the top 10 in the sky, but my ranking is also in the top 100 in the school. Senior Nangong is so amazing." Lin Yi's praise is genuine. A second-year senior with a C-level rating and more than 3,000 rankings. Lin Yi felt that he was a very strong senior. Nangong Ling can reach the top 100 of Shenxiao, and his strength must not be underestimated. Take advantage of the extremely short time you have to enter. Lin Yi opened his skill bar again. I glanced at the two new passive skills, Holy Spirit Chanting, and Elemental Absorption. Fortunately, these two skills are not very long. It's not like magic Tide, which is directly turned into a short essay. Holy Spirit Singing, type, passive skill, level, 8th level, department, general department, effect 1. When you cast a spell below level 6, the spell becomes instantaneous. The chanting time of level 7 spells is shortened by 90%, the chanting time of level 8 spells is shortened by 75%, and the chanting time of level 9 spells is halved. Effect 2. Now, when you cast a spell, you have an invisible elemental Holy Spirit singing the spell for you. The Holy Spirit has the same spell singing duration as you, and the spell singing will not be interrupted by anything below level 8. Silence and magic band skills are interrupted. Effect 3. Every 6 hours, you gain a layer of instant chanting effect. This effect allows you to chant spells below level 9 without the need for chanting time. The current number of layers of this effect, 3 layers, and the maximum number of stacked layers is 10 floors. Now you can consume 10 layers of instant chanting effect to cast a 9th level spell immediately without chanting time. Note, the song of the Holy Spirit resounds throughout heaven. Element Absorption, type, passive skill, level, 8th level, department, general department, effect 1. When you receive any elemental damage that you have mastered, the damage will be absorbed by you and converted into a shield effect that absorbs the corresponding elemental damage at a rate of 30%. Currently specialized in element types, fire, storm, ice, thunder, the maximum shield value obtained through this effect is 999,999, effect 2. Now you can convert any elemental shield into an omnipotent shield at a rate of 30%. The omnipotent shield can protect you from any type of damage except real damage. Effect 3. When you suffer a fatal injury that will cause your health to return to 0, the damage will be completely borne by mana, and the damage that exceeds the upper limit of your mana will be erased. After this effect is triggered, your mana will return to 0 and your health will be reduced to 1 point. This effect can only be triggered twice within 30 days, and the current remaining times are 2. Both skills have been greatly improved. The second effect of Holy Spirit Chanting is direct qualitative change and evolution. Now if Lin Yi uses a non-instant method to cast spells, he doesn't even need to chant and read the spell himself. There will be an invisible Holy Spirit to help him cast spells. In this way, the mage's deception becomes very strong. It's very possible that you saw him chatting with you playfully and smiling just a second ago. Maybe there is a Holy Spirit whispering a forbidden curse to you behind your back. Then the changes in survival skills are also not small. First of all, Lin Yi's currently specialized elemental system can no longer cause any harm to him, it will even become his shield value. It is worth mentioning that the necromantic system is not a type of elemental system. but a very special system. Even the damage caused by Lin Yi's corpse explosion technique is dark attribute damage. And there is no such thing as undead damage. Naturally, there will be no necromantic shield, in general. Lin Yi felt that his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. Now, as long as he wanted, he could cast forbidden spells without consumption or chanting. 2 students, it's okay, please come in. The guard at the door confirmed the identities and number of entries of the 2 people and let them in immediately. Lin Yi and Nangong Ling stepped in. After a dizzy moment, Lin Yi found himself in a huge square. The space in the copy sanctuary is much larger than the circular tower seen outside. In the entire first-floor space, Lin Yi saw dozens of light curtains of different sizes. In front of each light curtain, there were a large number of people coming in and out, a lively scene. The first floor of the dungeon sanctuary is mainly for entry-level and advanced-level dungeons. People who have just entered Shenxiao and have just been promoted to the 2nd grade basically spend most of their time here every day. But you shouldn't worry. Our recruitment work this year has not officially started yet. You have reported in advance. So there won't be many people queuing up to compete for the more basic entry-level dungeons such as the Sky Temple. Nangong Ling's voice had just fallen. A regional announcement was heard from the entire first floor of the dungeon sanctuary. Divine Dungeon Sanctuary Regional Announcement. Congratulations to the professional, Chu Chiu, for clearing the first floor dungeon, Sky Temple. Clearance time, 5 minutes 49 seconds 22. Refreshed the previous single-player best clearance record of this dungeon, and hereby awarded 250 credits. Please keep up the good work. Nangong Ling covered her mouth in surprise. She still underestimated the degree of involution of this year's freshmen. Obviously, it was not just Lin Yi. At this moment, there were also people who registered for school early today, and they were eyeing the credits of this dungeon. Even before Lin Yi, he had already set a new record for the best clearance of this dungeon. Please give me your recommendation votes and monthly votes.